County, the land they
No,
had?
no, that whole cemetery is a nice cemetery. It's kept up nice.
No, I don't think
And
we
it's
got
on V
that.
Highway right across from the Cairn Farm, about 2.5 miles north.
I'm going to have to get your list because Hall Cemetery,
Yeah.
I don't think we've got a Hall Cemetery.
Well, that's just north of Y Highway, about 2.5 miles on V.
That's not Jefferson County, right?
No, that's still in San Francis County.
But
But-
it's Hall Cemetery.
The Hall Cemetery. But the reason I wrote that down was on account of Billington and Plug States. Plug States was a cousin to my grandpa, or mother, and his mother was a twirling.
But you have people that lived here in Jefferson County that are buried there.
Billington lived up here on North, what was that street, him and Maddie, and they buried both of them out there. And I was coming through there, and I stopped and looked, and I seen Pug, and his wife was buried there. And well, have you ever heard of Kester's Mill? Some of the Kesters are buried there. And there's one cemetery that I haven't been to in 65 years. We went to a funeral there one time, and I remember we had to walk down a ways. But do you know where? Well, you know where V hits JJ? Okay, you come back this way about a quarter of a mile or so, and there's a
On V?
on 6 old JJ.
Okay, so you
Come back on JJ about a quarter of a mile from V.
okay. So would that be north or south?
That'd be north. And there's a cemetery down there at the lower edge of that field. And who is buried there and what the name of that cemetery is, just inside the Jefferson County line about, well, Uncle Charlie and Uncle Lou owned that farm there. They sold it to the Butler boys. But it is almost, I'd say it's not 500 foot from the county line.
And how many people do you think
Well,
were in there?
It seemed like to me there was 40 or 50 people there then.
Oh.
But now you know where Charter is, Charter Cemetery. I've got 2 great-grandfathers, a grandfather, 2 great-aunts, and, I don't know, 3 cousins. Did you know Johnny Husky? They had a daughter that she just lived in Arthur. She's buried there. And, I'll tell you, the Sweets, and I don't know who else buried. I know half the people.
Was there a church there with that?
The Charter Church.
Baptist?
The Charter Baptist Church is there, and they tore the old church down and built a new one. Now, I imagine they still have the records of that.
That cemetery?
Yeah.
Because they're still burying there.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then,
Do we want to hold this so the other people can hear?
Oh, yeah.
Because, I'm sure they'll find all this very interesting also.
Yeah, well, I have, Rudy, what I did, here comes some more. What I did was to just kind of make, this is the Kirk flat maps to show where you live, because I knew you probably were going to be.
That is really cool. How nice. You're all there. Whoa. And it's so little.
Well,
is it recording now?
Yeah,
Oh.
because he's been talking to
He's
us
been
already.
talking about some
And,
cemeteries.
let's
So
just-
we told him, just wait a minute till the rest of you got here.
Yeah.
This is Rudy Belleville,
Let me
and
shut
this is
this off.
Glee Hardtag Naes. Glee's from up in...
Glee Naes.
Okay.
do you know where the Bowen or Hamel Cemetery is?
B-O-H-L,
B-O-W.
B-O-W-E-N.
Do you know where that's at?
No.
Well, you know where the DeSoto High School is?
Out here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's right due north, about 500 feet.
I heard there was one.
There's a rock wall around it, and some of the Hamels are buried there, and the Bowens. And nobody, the only way I ever run onto it, I was plowing for Mrs. Mikey when she was alive, and I run on that cemetery.
I heard there was one over near the school.
It's got a big rock wall around it. It's just about 500 foot due north of the school, right behind Red Stradling's place.
I'm going to have to go up there and look at that. I don't know who owns that property now.
Well, I don't know if that belongs to Drew or who. Did Drew get all the Mikey place? I don't know.
I think John Drew did.
Well,
I think John Drew's got
it'd probably be on John Drew's property. But,
And I don't know if anybody takes care of it at all.
now there's another cemetery You know where Olive Street is? Well, right out at the end of Olive Street, about 7, or it might be 8th now, there used to be a wooden gate there. And it seems to me like that was the Frank Davis farm down there. It seems to me like there was a cemetery down there, and they always called it Pauper's Field.
In DeSoto?
Yeah. Well, that would.
See, I'm not familiar
That's
with
out.
that.
It's in DeSoto now, but it was out. But I haven't. Them Pitzer boys took me back there one time, and I can't remember much about that. But I remember they said that's Pauper's Field.
And that is over on, is it off of Clark Street now?
You go just about right straight back from Olive.
I know where Olive is.
Okay,
Yeah.
and back there you hit the Frank Davis fence, and there used to be a wooden gate there. And that cemetery was down that ridge. But don't ask me how far, because boy, I was a small kid then when John and Darrell Pitzer and them took me back there. We used to run them hills. What was the name of the cemetery that Kurt Mayer covered up there between 6th and 7th? North of Clark Street.
Manus?
No.
No, I was trying to think the name of it because those people came over from St. Clair and were very, very unhappy because they had family in that cemetery.
That was a big cemetery.
And supposedly those were moved out there to that graveyard out there that the Hope United Church has, you know what, at the junction of 67 and
Oh, that's even Ebenezer.
Ebenezer, yeah. But they call that Hope United
The Methodists.
Cemetery. Yeah, Mathis is it.
The Mathis, the Wagners, and let's see, who else is buried there? The Norps.
Yes.
And
And they still do some
how about the
burials.
Oakville Cemetery? You ever been there?
Not that one. I've heard about that one now,
Well,
Rudy,
yeah.
but I don't know it. I've had people ask where Oakville is, where that cemetery is, but I don't know.
Well, that's on the Oakville Road. You cross Telegraph Creek and just go under where the old railroad track was. It's right on the east side up there. Got a rock wall around it. And I'll tell you another cemetery I didn't think of to put down is on the Otto Michael farm. That's out on T Road. I don't know if you can even see it anymore, but it only set about 50 foot from, you know where the Oakville Road turns off at T?
We can get the,
I could look on a map.
yeah, let me bring the map back here. You can probably
Is that the
point.
one that has the rock wall around it?
Yeah.
They call it Coal Cemetery, I think. It sits right alongside T, down close to Charter.
Yeah. Well, it's
just off,
a mile or so back.
Yeah, and it's just off into the
Coal
field.
Cemetery. How did I ever get the name of Coal
The
Cemetery?
name that's in all the records is Coal Cemetery.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's something I
What,
didn't know.
what did you hear it is?
Do what?
What name did you?
I don't know. All I know, we always called it the Michael Cemetery because old man Michael bought that farm and he run pipe all over that and set about 100 acres of orchard there back in the 1800s.
What I want you to do, Rudy, you're talking about these, I want you to kind of mark here with your pen or something. Where you say that Oakville Road down here.
And if you can give it a number.
Here's
say
T,
what the number is.
Oakville.
Okay, there's Oakville,
Mm-hmm.
and it runs from 67.
Here's 67.
Okay, here's 67,
And that's where Oakville.
and we're going back this way. And there's the old, we always call it the old Solomon Road, that's the Selma Road. Well, probably right here in section 15 would be the Oakville Cemetery.
So that would be,
It's right against the old MRBT railroad track almost.
what's in there?
It's
I've
on,
heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
it's on the Hasek Strip, but it belongs to Trunks now. But there used to be a Methodist church set there on the other side of the tracks. And I believe, what did they call that? Hassey I believe the name there for the Hasseys or something. But there was a Methodist church set there, and when they built the railroad, well, they tore the Hassey house down, and Hassey's moved up on Long Road.
And so there's, anybody else come?
Well, they'll probably be straggling then, I guess, but.
Because he's starting in here, and I probably should get you a red marker so it'll show up better on there. And
Why don't you put a 1, 2, 3 and then put a list on here?
so we can, get what you call,
I'll
what
give you
you
this
call
list.
these. He's got a list here, but
Oh.
he's got a list of a lot of cemeteries that
There's
he
31
knows.
on there.
And
Oh, to keep you busy.
I think
Dave.
the main thing is getting an idea of where they're at.
If we don't run out of tape.
Now the boy has probably got a lot. He helped write, Frank Margery and him, and I forget who else wrote this Jefferson County history book that time. And he run around and looked up a lot of these old cemeteries.
Now, what history book? What?
I don't know, some history of Jefferson County. They hear about, like it's been 20 years ago or longer,
Maybe 80s.
70s, 80s. And they wrote some kind of historical book. And he run around all these old cemeteries and took pictures.
Now, this was Frank and.
Frank Margery and David Belleville.
Oh, David.
Okay.
Yeah, Sam, we've never seen that history book. I mean, I've never seen it.
I bet you have.
That's this one here, number
Because I
1
think
there.
David
I'm
has
going
got
to
a
mark
copy
that
of it.
number 1, and that's Oakville, you say.
That's Oakville.
Okay. And here's Becky Gagnon. He's already started talking, but we wanted him to kind of. I've got maps here just to show you where Rudy lives, but he knows the territory down around here pretty good. He's got a number of cemeteries here.
I spread fertilizer on every farm in Jefferson County and hauled farm machinery there, and followed my grandpa when he was an auctioneer. And
And what's Rudy's last name?
Belleville,
Belleville. Just like the town?
just like the town.
Just like the flag here. Oh, okay. I think glasses help.
Yeah.
Or sometimes people pointing them out.
You want to go on,
Are we?
or are you waiting?
Well, why don't you start with your list that you've got here, Rudy,
Okay.
and then let's try to locate these on the map,
Okay.
because he's
All
got a
right.
list. We so far he's given us some we haven't heard, but
We'll go to the McCormick Cemetery. You ever seen
Well,
that?
I don't know.
I'll tell you what.
Well, I see it on the map.
use the red pen. That way it's going to
Okay.
show up.
There are two
That's number
McCormick's.
2.
McCormick cemeteries. Is this the one that's kind of south? Because there's a McCormick on
There's
Sugar
one
Creek or
up here.
Saline.
Yeah. It
This
would be
is
that
on
one.
off of the Flatten Creek. It's on the Hardy McCormick, or the Perry McCormick farm. And there's another cemetery I forgot about, right behind the Flatten Methodist Church. There's a cemetery there, and 40 or 50 graves in it. I don't know what the name of that is. But
That's that one that we have. Gosh, what is it in our records? It's
it's
the one
on
that's
the
the
McCormick
guy's
farm.
property.
I can't think of the old man's name that bought that PB McCormick, or not PB McCormick farm, D.L. McCormick farm. Yeah, but it's just right behind the Flatten Church, north.
We located in our records. I mean,
Found that.
we haven't been there yet, but we know where it should be. We have a record.
Well, I'll tell you, it's not over
Let him go through his news.
150, 175 foot behind the church.
Yeah.
It sits on that hillside there, but I never heard a name. There's stones in there.
Yeah, we have it listed in our records. I'd have to look, but
But the
we
McCormick,
know which one you're
Yeah,
talking
because we
about.
talked about
Yeah, we talked about that one.
Flatten Methodist Church.
yeah.
It's
So, a lot of them
Now,
around
this
there.
is on somebody's, do you
Yeah.
have our list?
it's on
Okay.
somebody's
I've
property.
got those. I've got the 3 books.
No, the list that you made up for everybody?
Oh,
Because we could go off of there. Which one we're talking about there, because that's in there, I know, but I don't know what it is offhand.
Yeah, I don't remember what name
It's
we
under
had.
somebody's name.
Oakville Road, Highway JJ, McMillan School Road.
Okay, is that the one that's on Victor Wagner's
That's
property?
it. Yeah,
is on.
that's the one we consider Victor Wagner, I'm sure.
Okay.
Is that what we'll call him, Victor Wagner? Because we don't have
Yeah.
anything under Flatten Methodist now. I don't know if that's right. Was it actually the church cemetery, you think, Rudy, or was it?
I don't know. But I lived right there about 500 foot down the hill when we was first married. Wagner Cemetery, their cemetery on Platten Road next to the Sylvan Finney home. No, Sylvan Finney lived on that Platten Road, which is original Methodist church dedicated.
See, that's what we're talking about, the Victor Wagner.
Modeled into a cemetery fenced in. No, this is not fenced in. It's just marked only by rough stones. It has only 2 graves as readable markers. One is tombstone, the other funeral home marker placed during 1944. Probably like this cemetery joining the church. No, the one I'm talking about is just right behind the present Platten Church. That is, you know, as you start up the hill from the station.
Okay, we need to go out there and look. Blaine and I drove over there around that looking, but we looked on either side thinking that'd be on one side or the other of the church. You're saying behind it.
Yeah, it's right straight behind the church.
Okay.
But it's pretty good size country cemetery.
Okay, we need to get it a number on the map, 3, and you don't know what the name of that is. That's
No.
good. Okay. On name.
But it'd be right behind Platten Road. It's
I
Platten.
missed the first one, which was
Oakville.
There's Nara Road.
Dave Rudy's father.
Well, there's some book that Frank and Dave wrote that I've never seen. Okay, now which one are we looking for now?
So we're looking for that
I was
Platten.
looking for that Platten,
I think it's
here's Platten Road, right here.
Here's Platten,
Okay.
so it would be like right here.
Now, here goes Harness Road,
Uh-huh.
and then here goes Platten Road up the holler, and,
Church, I think, is right about
yeah,
here.
all right, that cemetery is right there. You don't have a topo map. You know that topo map shows a lot of them old cemeteries. You ever look at them?
Yeah, but I'm not sure that one's there. I don't know.
Boy, it shows a lot of them.
Let's give it a number 3.
Uh,
We'll
Yeah.
just write the number
Yeah,
3 on
put
there.
a
Number
number 3
3
on
on
there
there.
as well.
Okay. But, now, right here, where these roads join, there's a remains of an old brick house sets up on the
That's
hill.
Red Brick Plantation House.
All right,
There's a cemetery right behind it, right?
right behind it, that's McCormick Cemetery.
McCormick, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the one that we have is James McCormick.
The red brick
James
house.
McCormick.
yeah, I think, yeah, I guess the old house still standing, I haven't been
Yeah,
out there so long.
partially there, yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Seems like-
McCormick was that, Rudy?
Well, that was the original settler of Platten Valley. What was his name, Perry?
James.
We have it as
I don't
James.
think-
You said
James
Perry
Street.
McCormick Farm a little earlier.
Yeah, I think it's Perry McCormick
The
because,
cemetery is in back of the old red
or wait a minute.
red plantation
I'll take
house
that back.
built by
Perry
James
was
M.
his son,
McCormick.
that was Mitch's
Don't
dad.
try to confuse us now.
And, what was David's got it in the records out there, because,
James McCormick, the cemetery is back of the old red plantation house built by James M. McCormick in 1836.
that's it. That's the one, because David went to the St. Louis Library and got all these census records. And,
We can put a number 2 on
Property is
this.
now owned, what we have in our record said property is now owned by Mitchell and Mamie McCormick.
well, Mamie's dead, but, Mitchell's sister, I forget what her name is. Mitch is in the nursing home,
Oh.
but, those cedar trees that big around that cemetery. they're
Unaccessible except by foot up a very steep hill.
Well, yeah,
You gotta walk
it's not too far.
to the plantation house, it's in the back.
Yeah, it's, I'd say 200 foot behind the house. It sits on that hog back there. And, I keep thinking of these cemeteries as I go along.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
That's all right.
It's wonderful.
If something jogs your mind, that's fine, because we're,
Yeah, we're,
ooh.
Well,
okay,
do you know where the Henry Bridigan farm is on the Platten?
no.
Well, here's the Platten, and as you go up,
Rudigan.
Henry Bridigan.
B-O-U-D-I-G-N?
Brudigan, I believe it is. Now, he's got a son that lives out there somewhere, could probably take you right to it, but there's no road to it, but, let's see here, Boyce's Lane.
I don't
way back.
Alright, show me where this one is, because this is where I used to live.
I don't think we have this.
Yeah.
I used to live right here.
You used to live right there on Boyce's Lane?
No, just the other side of Boyce's Lane. There's a driveway right here, and there's a white house up here. It's owned by Dr. Albee.
Oh, that's, yeah, the old Albee.
Before they built all those houses up in
Well, this is way back down the Platten Road.
Since I teach anything, I drove that road every day. So.
And I'll tell you, these sections here, there's 640 acres in each one of them sections that don't go in much detail. But right in there somewhere, where when you cross the Platten Creek, going up the Platten Road there, like you're headed towards Fluken and Charter, well, when you pass that Henry Brudigan house, and on the other side of the field, there was an old road to the left, went up the hill, and there's a cemetery sets up on that hill.
I think could he maybe be talking about, you know, where the McCormick slave cabin is and the one up on top of the hill, that kind of stuff?
That might be.
Well, that was the...
You know where the old log cabin is on that farm? As you're going south on Charter Church?
No, not offhand. But anyway, that was the PB McCormick farm.
Because you don't cross the creek till here.
P.B. McCormick?
Yeah, that was the only,
No, I was thinking
on the
down
old
here.
PB McCormick farm.
P.B. McCormick
Yeah.
farm. There was.
Yeah, his name was Perry Belleville McCormick.
Oh, okay.
He married my great-grandfather's sister.
And she carried her.
Yeah. And
They
she
Perry
named,
Belleville.
she named her son Perry Belleville McCormick. They called her the Queen. This has all been handed down.
Now, is this a Belleville? Who's in this cemetery up there?
I don't know.
Don't know.
I probably haven't been up there since I was a small kid with my dad squirrel hunting.
But you do know.
But I do know there's a cemetery sets up there.
And what farm was this on?
That's on the Henry Brudigan farm.
Brudigan, I wrote down.
And I forget the guy's name that owns it now. I met him up at Jean's one day.
Do you know what time period that Brudigan owned it? Maybe,
Yeah. I'd say Brudigan owned it from back in the early 40s up till 7 or 8 years ago.
Okay, 1940s to 90s. Okay, that'll help.
Okay. What else you have in the list?
Now, there's another cemetery out there. I don't know if you know where the Albert Evans farm is.
I'm not,
A guy named Belleville owns it now.
the one on McMullen Ridge.
Okay.
It's all the way to the very end of McMullen
All the way
Ridge.
at the very end of McMullen Ridge.
There's putting a subdivision in there, and
Yeah.
I went down that road, and
Okay,
if
I
you
was gonna
follow all
say,
the way to the end, there's a circle there, and there's
If you
cemetery
go
right
in down there by the Schmidt place and follow the old railroad track down and
Yeah.
take that road all the way back to the end,
Yeah.
you'll come pretty close to that old McMullen cemetery.
Well, the road actually does a circle at the end of the road, and the cemetery actually sits inside the circle.
It
I've
does.
been there. I've been down there.
Oh,
Awesome.
they just made the road to go around it.
Around the
I
cemetery.
haven't been back there since about
There's a new
46.
subdivision going in there. It's called Platten Gap subdivision. I think.
They always called that the McMullen Cemetery.
Yeah.
But, okay, you know where that is,
Mhm.
on McMullen Ridge. And then you know where the Flukem Methodist Cemetery is.
Okay, Fluken Methodist.
Yeah, that's on,
Yeah, that's
Flippin'
right
road.
next to the church.
right next to the church.
Yeah, we've got Flippin' Methodist.
The Halters and I don't know who else
Yeah.
live there.
The Ailey's are in there. Dewey
Yeah.
Ailey's in there. Yeah.
That's next to the church.
And then we talked about Oakdale. That's on Oakdale Road, right at the MRBT railroad track.
Okay, now the Oakdale is on Oakdale Road and the tracks.
Yeah.
Is it like up the valley?
No, you just, when Oakdale Road goes through where the old railroad track was, you just go up on the old railroad right away and go down I call it down the track towards Flukem, about less than 100 feet, and it sits on the right-hand side, and there's a rock wall around
Okay.
there. That's where my
I haven't been there,
great-grandmother's
but
buried,
I've heard
and
of it.
one daughter, she was a Kemp. And there's Hinchers, Hassies and Hinchers, and I forget who all buried in there. Trees has grown up so tall in it.
You said there was not a church right next to this.
Well, they said there
cemetery.
used to be a church set across. I don't ever remember it, but
At one time there might have been a church there.
a church set right straight across the tracks from the cemetery.
Oh, okay.
Because there's an old foundation there. Now, I don't know where the Hassie house set. And then the other one is the Worth Cemetery. Did you find that?
What one?
That's where all the Fisher's relatives are buried. John Fisher and them.
It's called, what is it
What do
called?
they call it?
Worth.
W-R-T-H?
Uh,
No, I haven't,
that's just about halfway between Flukem Road and Oakvale Road. And they built a big new house up there on the east side of the 67 highway. And there's a little lane goes up there that used to run all the way down that ridge to Ted Mathis's farm. And you go up there past that big new house, story and a half or two-story house. Did you ever see that sitting there?
I don't remember.
Well, there's only two houses between Oakvale, or three houses between Oakvale and Flukem. And it is the middle house. And there's a lane that goes right up beside it on the north side of it. And when you get back there in the trees a little ways, that's the Worst Cemetery. And that's where
Never heard of that.
all the old Fisher relatives are buried, and I don't know who else.
John Fisher's relatives, isn't it?
John Fisher's mother's side, I think. But it's been so long since I've been back there, I don't know who all's buried.
That's where,
Okay, that's the Worst Cemetery. How about the Bar Cemetery? You know where that's at?
No.
B-A-R-R?
Yeah.
Or B-A-E-R?
That's out on Flukem Road.
Well, there's B-A-H-R and there's B-A-R-R.
Okay,
Now, is it
the,
this one?
here's
This
the-
is-
where's the,
Yeah, that's it. Henry Barr's buried there.
oh yeah, this is that one right next to the road.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. He was in, that man was in here the other day owns that yet, this Mr.
Yeah.
Barr, lives in St. Louis.
Yeah, yeah.
He's about 80-something. He
Yeah.
was down, and he says he takes care of that.
I wonder if that'd be one of Henry's brothers. I didn't know he had. Henry's the one that run the baker shop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is one of Henry's brothers, because he said his brother ran the
Okay,
bakery.
because I was going to say his children, I know all of them, and they're not that old.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, can we put a number 7 where the Worth Cemetery is? Can we locate that?
Okay, where's 67 here?
Number 67.
And,
What are we looking for? Clinton?
no, we're looking for Oakville and, here. Flukem, here's Flukem, and here's Oakville. So this would be east. So it would be right in here somewhere.